The weapons that are forming against me seems like they're prospering. You think I didn't have 1852? I really ain't got 3500. Okay, sister, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And you see me? I got about 40 minutes to tell my business. So I got to tell it quick and you got to listen even quicker, okay? So go on, pull up real quick. I got me a little juice. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to go ahead and pull up whatever you like. You know what I'm saying? Pull up a little wine. Take a couple shots of Don Julio. I don't care what you do. First things first, we're going to talk about my eviction. I'm hoping that y'all are coming from my TikTok video. But if y'all not already caught up, I got evicted. I lost my car. I lost my job. I lost my grandma. And ultimately had to move back to my hometown with my mom. All of that happened in a span of a year, y'all. And I'm used to life being a little tough. But baby, I ain't used to it whipping up on me like that. Not back to back to back to back to back. So in an attempt to go ahead and get my fight back, I'm about to trauma dump on y'all. And then I'm gonna release it. But I know you like to hear people's business. So you don't have to act like you don't hear. And good that you like to hear people's business because I like to tell my business. First, I lose my car. So God had told me not to take my car down the road. I'm originally from Alabama, but I moved to South Carolina. So one day I made plans to go down the road and see a friend that I had at the time. And God is like, no, Lexus, don't go. I don't know about you, but I'm not used to obeying God's voice. I'm not used to like doing everything he tells me to do when he tell me to do it. I'm real hard head. I barely did what my parents told me to do. So he like, Lexus, don't go down the road. I'm like, why? Why are we not going down the road? And I really wanted to go and see my friend. And the friend that I had at the time, we were super close. So anytime this friend would call, I'm coming. I about dang near don't care if I gotta swim to the friend. And you guessed it. The friend is a man. I ain't never felt conviction so strong than when I decided to go down that road. So I go down the road, everything cool. We go back up the road to South Carolina, everything cool. Until I get about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, less than about 2 minutes away from my house. We stop at a quick trip. Why do my car stop working? Like full on stop working. We cut the car off. We go to cut it back on. And it will not crank. And when I tell you it never crunk again, it never crunk again. It actually ends up getting like impounded. That's my bad though. But it ends up getting impounded. I call the people trying to figure out how I can get it back. Cause what if we can get it fixed? They tell me, oh yeah, it's 500 for the inbound and $40 for every day is there. Well, y'all got yourself a car. I don't know what they do with the cars when they impound them, but y'all got yourself a car because I can barely pay rent. I could barely pay rent, let alone get the car out of the impound for $500. So without a car, how I'm gonna get to work? You know what I'm saying? So I'm having to pay people gas, which I know a lot of nice people when I lived up there, but I'm having to pay gas. I'm having to Uber. That's $30 a day. That's $30 a day, y'all. And my cost of living, I seen a TikTok that said it costs to be poor. And it really does. Because I'm having to pay out $30 a day. They cut my food stamp off because they say I'm making too much. And the only reason why my gross pay was as much as it was because I was working overtime to be able to afford rent. Ain't that crazy? Like my whole paycheck was really going to rent. So between gas, grocery, and Ubering, I'm surprised I didn't drown sooner. I'm surprised, yeah. I'm so surprised I didn't get evicted a lot sooner than I did, but it was God's grace and mercy that kept me, and my self sabotaging behaviors that went ahead and sunk the ship. So rent was about 18, no, rent was 1500. Rent was 1500 a month. Well, 15 something. I'm only making $18 at the time. Like 18.50. You do the math. So I started paying it late because at the first of the month I don't got just 1500 to give you, and even if I do got the rent, that's all I got. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be able to make it to work. I wouldn't be able to get groceries. So I don't got no other choice but to pay the rent late. And so they add a 10% fee on when you pay it late. Like after the fifth, I believe they add a 10%. They add 10% to rent. Okay, after the 10th, they add about 170, almost $200 to what you owe. At the end of each month, because I was paying rent on around 19th or 20th, we coming up on a new month. I was paying 18.52 every single month. Rent was whacking me upside my head, y'all. And I'm telling you, the only thing that was keeping me outside of God, God first. Remember that. Remember that. If you watching this, you don't believe in God, you might as well not finish the video, sister, because God gonna be all up and through here. Only thing that was keeping me was God and the overtime, for real. And so I come to work one day and they do an announcement because I'm at work working 12 hours. I'm on the weekend on 12 hours. Do you hear me? We come to work one day and they like, thank you guys for your hard work. What you thanking me for? I email the director at the time and I'm like, overtime not, y'all not taking overtime away, are y'all? She's like, yes ma'am, we don't have any more work for you all. I asked this lady, I was like, can you find some? Can y'all train me in another area? Because I knew that overtime was a part of the reason why I had the money to afford rent. But this is where I messed up. Pay attention here. I messed up thinking that overtime was the source. Overtime was always a resource, never the source. So I'm freaking out. I'm bugging out at work. I start crying. At my desk. I cried the whole day. Not only was I scared that I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent, but they took overtime in the same month of my son's birthday. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to pay rent. I'm not going to be able to get my son nothing. And that's the worst feeling as a parent, is feeling like you about to fail your kids and you don't know what else you gonna do. So I start spiraling. At this point, I'm trying, I think I'm obeying God, but I'm not. But I am doing all the things like, you know how Christians do. You know, they go to church, they praise, they worship, and they know how to look like a Christian, but they don't know how to be a Christian. So I'm at this phase of my life. I don't know it, but I'm at this phase of my life. So I take even that out of God's hands. I start praying and I start trying to figure out what I'm gonna do on my own. And so every decision I made after them taking the overtime is what ultimately led me to eviction, because I'm like, God moved too slow. That's what I'm thinking. God moves too slow. Either I'm not hearing him or something. And so I think I like got a rental. I spent the money I had, with some of the money I had. Like I could have paid rent that month. October I could have paid rent, but I was like, I'm gonna have to get the rent another way. I get a rental so that I could take my son somewhere for his birthday, so that I could get him something for his birthday. And it was that month that I got behind. And I'm thinking I'm gonna make it back on the back end. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna take this rental and I'm gonna make some money off of it. I'm gonna Uber, I'm gonna Spark, I'm gonna DoorDash, I'm gonna do all of the things and make the rest of the rent money back. It don't happen like that. And of course it don't happen like that because I'm dependent on my own strength. I took it smack dab out of God's hand. I didn't ask him what to do. I didn't tell him to help me or nothing. I'm just like, I just have to make it happen for my son. No, thank you, God. And so I get behind that month because they wouldn't let me sign up for Spark. DoorDash wasn't hitting like that. I went out there one day for 6 hours and made $44. When it's like $60 a day to even rent the rental at the time, maybe 60 or 70. I'm not making anything. If anything, I'm losing money. So boom, we get to that next month. And now I really ain't got it. You think I didn't have 1852? I really ain't got 3500 and I don't got nobody I can ask. And my faith ain't big enough no more. I By the time he got to 3500, I feel defeated. Right? So we go ahead and we get to court. We got to go to court now. And they let me know, look, you got 7 days. You got 7 days to come up with 3,500 or go ahead and surrender the apartment. After those 7 days, if you are not out of the apartment, you got 24 hours before we serve you. I think it's called a writ of arrest or something like that. I don't know. And that's when they put your stuff out on the side of the road. Now, luckily, I had money. I just didn't have 3,500. And so I go ahead, I tell my kids. I think that was one of the most heartbreaking things. You know what I'm saying? When you have to go ahead and let your kids know, um, we gotta pack up everything and we have to go to a hotel. And I am gonna try not to cry. This is really emotional for me. Um, so like I'm trauma dumping for real. I'm just go ahead and let y'all know that now. It's sad when you gotta let your kids know that we'll be staying in a hotel. Mind y'all, especially if y'all hear from TikTok. I'm in another state at this time. I'm originally from Alabama, but I was staying in South Carolina. I had, walked out on faith and just left everything behind. So there's no family here. There's nobody that could even help us move our stuff. And if I still got like the videos, I'm going to insert some videos and some clips of us moving out. It was just me, my little brother, and my two sons. We pack, like, rent a U-Haul. We pack up everything. We move everything by ourselves. And we go and we start living in a hotel. By the time Thanksgiving hits, we're spending Thanksgiving in a hotel room. Crushed is not even the word. And I was trying to hold on to my faith. I was trying to believe God to turn it around. Like, I'm not going to let this break me. I'm not going to let this turn me. But we're in a hotel room, no car. I could barely get the kids to school. I I don't know. This just felt like the greatest storm I ever had to weather. But like I said, I'm trying. I'm trying. And so we spend not even a month. I don't think we spent a full month in the hotel after eviction because I meet this woman. I met her through work. We was cool. She seemed cool. You know what I'm saying? I always kept my distance though. But I'm like, she cool. She was taking me to work. She was helping me out. She was letting me use her car, all of that. So she come to me and she like, look, you and the boys can stay with me. She had got an apartment or whatever. She had just moved in an apartment. It was a 2 bedroom and 2 bathrooms. She was like, you and the boys take that room. Y'all take that bathroom. You know what I'm saying? This will help you get on your feet. We just split rent and we'll do it like that. Okay, so now we out of a hotel. I think we cool. I think we straight. And so the lady noticed, she noticed that, okay, she paying rent. This works for both of us because the economy is getting worse, but it's been bad. You know what I'm saying? This last 3-4 years, the economy has been bad. So it's like two is better than one at this point. So we decide that we gonna split rent. We even decide, y'all, to get a place after the fact. Like after this lease is up here, she's like, let's get a house. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, we're both struggling. I'm like, bad. And splitting the rent, all I had to pay was 700. Going from 1852 to 700 sounded like a plan. Another mistake I made, I got too comfortable. I got too comfortable. Instead of using that as a means to get on my feet, I'm planning to split rent with somebody after the fact. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not really saving as I should. That's my bad. A couple months go by. That's when my grandma died. And I'm like, God, the weapons that are forming against me seems like they're prospering. Don't you think? I was just recovering from losing my apartment and losing my car, feeling like I could breathe again, feeling like I could get on track again. And you mean to tell me my grandma gone? And my grandma was my best friend. I took care of my grandma for 5 years. I was her primary caregiver. I loved my grandma. I don't know about anybody else in that grandma because a lot of people would say, well, she was old. Didn't you know she was sick? I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. That was like my mom. You know what I'm saying? So when my grandma died, that was like the first real death for me that actually set in. Felt like my world was caving in. I'm like, God, you know I don't know how to manage. I don't know how to manage hurt. And I feel like a lot of us don't. But when my feelings are deeply hurt, when I'm deeply wounded, I really start self-sabotaging. You want to see somebody mess up their life? When something hurts me, like when it really hurt me, not when it like just ouch, but when it hit me deep down, I really start acting a fool. So after my grandma died, I I went from telling everybody that I found Jesus and I know Jesus and Jesus will heal you. So I'm back getting high. I'm back smoking blacks. I had stopped for like 9, 10 months. I'm back smoking blacks. I'm back getting drunk. I'm back having sex, everything that God delivered me from, I'm back on that. I'm back on that because I don't know how to deal with this heartbreak. I don't know how to deal with all of these blows I just took, right? And so I'm spiraling. I'm spiraling. I'm spending money. I'm for sure not saving. I'm for sure not saving. Now, I didn't even go get a car. I'm riding around in rentals. Rentals cost money. And so a couple months after my grandma passed, if not like a month after my grandma passed, I lose my job. And it was like the lady, she called me in the office and you seen the tears in her eyes. You know, the people that I worked with knew that I had been through a lot the prior months. But business is business. You know what I'm saying? I obviously missed a lot of days. I couldn't get the kids to school. Sometimes I couldn't get to work. So, it's obvious that I'm way over the attendance policy at this point. And so they did what they had to do and they let me go. That's how I felt. No words. I don't even know what to say after that. But I'm still holding on. I'm still in South Carolina. I'm still staying with my roommate and I go from one plan to the next. I still got some money on me. I start Ubering. You know what I'm saying? You know, with Uber, you can make as much money as you go out there and make. Like Uber is where the money is, especially on the weekend. So I'm like, okay, I'm Uber until I find a job. I can shake back. I can shake back off of Ubering. And so I'm trying to hold it in the road. You know what I'm saying? And on top of all of this, I don't have a babysitter for my I don't have a babysitter for my kids. And so they was having to stay at home by themselves a little bit. And so I'm just trying to hold it in the road to the summertime until I could get them to their daddy, to my mama, to somebody. Because try shaking back with two kids. That shake back be so hard when you trying to shake back with two small kids. I have a 9-year old and a 10-year old. And now I understand when our parents used to leave us at home and be like, don't answer my door, don't unlock my door for nobody. You'll be having to do what you have to do. But like I said, I'm just trying to hold it in the role at this point. And so it don't even make it to summertime. I think we like 2 weeks into summer. I'm about to send the kids with my mama. The roommate out of nowhere. See, something else came through from the roommate. Something else came through. I'm not gonna tell her business, but something came through for her to the point where she didn't need to go have fun rent no more. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you know what? All together, I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of paying bills. I'm trying to get ahead. She came up on a leak. She like, oh, I'm finna go stay with my daddy. When the lease is up, that's it. I'm like, cool, bet. That's 2 months. I'm Ubering. I'm saving money. I can get an apartment. I can get a place in 2 months. I figure something out. The 2 months don't even come. Now the apartment is not in her name. It's in her folks' name. So before the 2 months even come, she out the blue text me. And she like, Lexus, this not gonna work anymore. I don't want to ruin our sisterhood. I don't want us to stop being friends, but this living arrangement is not working. What? Mind you, I make an excellent roommate. I may got two kids, but I make an excellent roommate, and everything was good up until this point. Like it caught me by surprise. But she's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want us to live together anymore. And technically, I gotta leave because it's in her folks' name. Like everybody was talking about do this or do that or I don't got time for that. I'm not about to stay nowhere and go through no legal this or no legal nothing. It is not worth it. I'm going to leave. But I can't find no apartment in 2-3 days. And because of that last little blow, I end up having to call my daddy and tell him like I gotta come home. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody to come and get me. And I had to move back to Alabama. And I had to move back in with my mama because, I didn't have nowhere else to go. I didn't have nothing else to do. And that was the last little blow. Now, all of this over the span of like, I'm just going to say a year because we ain't got to try to calculate it. But probably like 10 months. All of this over the span of 10 months. So I done lost everything. Everything. And I'm back in my whole town. Y'all hometown. Y'all, I even lost my storage. Like the stuff I had in storage. I had clothes, shoes, furniture, everything in storage. Lost all of that. Lost all of that. Heartbroken. Heartbroken to say the least. Like it took away my fight. It took away my drive. And everybody is like, well, you just need to do this. You just need to do that. You just need to. And I'm like, yeah, my heart. I am wounded. I'm in pain. And I don't know where to go from here. Like when you take a loss back to back to back to back to back to back like that, sometimes it's hard to figure out where to go. And like I said in my TikTok video, I feel like by the time a lot of y'all is watching this, y'all done seen my TikTok. I was pissed at God. I was pissed at God because how would you allow all of this to happen? Why did you allow all of this to happen to me? And I'm praying to you. I'm fasting. I'm worshiping you. I'm trying to do right by people. I'm trying to forgive. And you let me lose everything? Like you didn't step in and intervene not one time? Not once? Not even realizing that I controlled I controlled a lot of that. A lot of the reason why it happened like that was not just because life is hard, was not just because of a little bad luck. It was because I'm disobedient. You know what I'm saying? And I I self sabotage a lot, and I don't even realize it. I don't even realize I'm self sabotaging. Now a year later, I'm ready to pick up the pieces. I really don't know exactly where to go from here, but I know I got to go somewhere. Like, I know I just can't keep sitting in it. I can't keep grieving. Oh, I lost this. I lost that. Baby, one thing I have learned is that time keeps going. Time did not slow down not once. It did not stop not once. It did not give me a hug. It did not pat me on the back. It did not kneel. It did not look back to see if I was okay. It kept going. So now I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to get up. I'm ready to fight life back. I feel like I could be great again. And so I just wanted to share my story. I don't know where to sit this. This is uncomfortable. I really just had that as a prop. The juice is warm. Cause I already told y'all it's juice. It's warm, boo. But we just can't. I'm not just gonna trauma dump on y'all and not tell y'all what I learned and what I would have done differently. Cause one thing I learned is, boo, you're not special. You're not the only one going through it. You know what I'm saying? What I had to learn is you're not the only one that done been evicted with your children. And you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be the last one. You're not the only one that done lost somebody, that done lost a loved one. And you're not going to be the last one. You're not the only one that done lost a job. You're not the only one that done been betrayed and played. You're not the only one that done lost a car or none of that. Like, you are not special. You're not. So I don't want to just trauma dump without giving what I learned and what I would have done differently, just in case somebody is watching this who is going through the same thing, about to go through the same thing, or have been through it and still like struggling with it. So, one thing I would have done is I would have applied biblical principle, right? The Bible either is true or it's not. Like I said, if you don't believe in Jesus, then this probably is not the video for you, boo. But the Bible is true. And it has to be true for you. It cannot be something you read as a sport. You know what I'm saying? It cannot be something that you mention here and there, but you don't read and actively live by. For one, I should have done what God told me to do. I should have yielded to his voice and not went down that road. The only reason why he told me to not go down the road because he knew the car couldn't make it. It wasn't because he didn't want me to have fun. It wasn't because he didn't want me to do this and that. He knew that the car would not make it. And he also knew me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be like, oh, God knows my heart. God knows my heart. He does. And a lot of the times, what he knows about you is that you don't have the faith to endure giving a foothold to the enemy. Whatever the enemy can use, he will. It wasn't about my car. It wasn't about taking my car away from me. It was about my faith. It was about taking that. It was about slowing me down. It was about shutting me up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna insert like pictures and clips. I was really on TikTok talking about my faith and talking about the way that I believe, and people were listening. You know what I'm saying? And God gives us all gifts, and I believe my voice is one, and He needed to shut me up. So if I have to use your disobedience, if I have to use that car, then I'm going to use it. I would have done what God told me to do because he knew that the car could not make it. He knew that if the car broke down, he knew what it would do to me. He knew I was weak. He knew I was feeble, and he knew that I had not yet exercised the courage to make it through that. So I would have been obedient. I would have applied biblical principle. But let's just say I wouldn't have been obedient. Let's just say I would have did it the same way, and I would have still went down the road to see my friend. When I came back, when the car broke down, what I should have done was I should have realized in that moment, like, excuse me, I should have realized, like, okay, I've been disobedient, repented, and turned away instantly. You know what I'm saying? Everything from that moment forth should have been extreme obedience. God, you tell me not to spend $1 and I got 10, okay, I don't spend that dollar. You have to apply biblical principle even in a hard time. If you are in a hard time, what does the Bible say? You know what I'm saying? What does the Bible say you should do? I'll give you one. Put the kingdom of God first, and everything will be added to you. Focus on God. In a tough time, focus on God. Don't focus on the storm. If you are going through it, if you've watched the video this far and you are going through it, focus on God and watch He get you out of it. And I did write old school notes in a notebook, boo. The iPad just ain't gonna cut it. Two ties into one: obedience. If you are not obedient to the voice of God, mind you, I touched briefly on it in the TikTok video. There's nowhere in the Bible where God sends a breakthrough, a blessing, or anything before your obedience. Disobedience in the Bible caused kings to lose their position. You know what I'm saying? It took kings from all the way up here to all the way down here. You have to be obedient, extremely obedient. You have to do what God says, and I'm talking about what He says outside of the Bible, because now if you done made it to two, you believe in Jesus. We serve the one and only living God, so His voice is still alive. What has He told you to do? What has He told you not to do? His protection is only in your obedience. If you have been skating by, doing whatever you wanted to do, living your life however you want to, it's only by His grace and His mercy. But His protection is in obedience. Okay? Now after this, baby, I'm a jump. I'm a leap, hop to do what He tells me to do. Because the only thing that couldn't have been avoided through my obedience is my grandma passing. That was bound to happen. And mind you, if I would have been obedient, my grandma passing probably wouldn't have done to me what it did to me. Because God had really, and I hope y'all faith can believe me in this, God had told me that my grandma would not live past last year. I didn't know when, I didn't know how soon He would take her, but He came to warn me. And that's when I should have been like, getting strong in the spirit to be able to withstand that. Like, yes, it was still gonna hurt, but it wouldn't have took me down the way it took me down. Like, I have been down, not working, not caring about myself, not creating content. And I actually love creating content, but I wasn't even doing that because I'm like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? What's the point? If I had been obedient, I would have had the spiritual strength to withstand even with that. And the last thing, because my time running out, I gotta wrap this up, is trust. I would have trust God with all my heart. You know what I'm saying? Once they took the overtime away, um if I would have trusted God, He would have made a way. He would have made a way for that month's rent, because mind you, I had that month's rent. By the time I had that month's rent and a little money saved up. And the even crazier part is, this is around about this time, me and my child's father had started to rekindle our relationship. And him and the kids' relationship. He sent both of the kids a tablet. You know what I'm saying? Even if they would have just got that tablet, even if I would have, had the faith to be still and listen to God, maybe somebody would have helped. Maybe I could have called somebody, and maybe they would have been willing to, I don't know, give me $50 to get them. God could have turned it if I would have trusted Him with all of my heart. Your faith has to be at a point that even when it looks bad. My sister said something the other day that just really stuck with me. The Bible says that the enemy roams around like a roaring lion. He is not one. So sometimes things look so bad just to shake you, just to stop you from trusting in God. When it's really not that bad, when it's nothing too big for our Father, when He can handle it. Not trusting Him with my son's birthday and being shook by them taking away overtime, fast track the eviction. That is, I had been maintaining for months with not enough money. I was paying the rent late. Yeah, they cut off the food stamps. We never went hungry, y'all. We did not have enough money. We never went hungry. Rent got paid. I never could not afford an Uber. I never didn't have a ride. Never. Didn't have the resources. And if I would have just thought about that and trusted him with all of my heart, I don't feel like we would have got evicted. I don't feel like we would have got evicted. So with those first two steps, it is imperative. And that's why I only needed to put three things. I learned a lot through all of this, but I only needed to put those three things is because what I know for sure is that you just gotta trust God with all your heart. Boo, if it look bad, it ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you got $0 in your account right now. I don't care if your account in the negative and they talking about cutting off your lights or they talking about doing this and that. They gonna do this and that. God can change it. Trust Him with all your heart. And with that I add, God will also teach you a lesson. You mess up one too many times, God will he will allow. He will allow for some stuff to happen. So I'm saying at the beginning, trust him with all your heart. Like if you at the beginning phase of it, trust him with all your heart. And even if it gets to a point where he has to allow something to happen, something to hit you, still trust him with all your heart. Don't stay in it. I think one of my biggest regrets out of all of this is I stayed down way too long. Like I let it get me down way too long. As soon as it happens, learn from it and get up. I know it hurts. I know it's hard, but trust God with those feelings and emotions. Give it to Him. And that's it. That's all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it enough to watch it all the way to the end. And go watch the vlog that I'm going to post tomorrow. We got the videos coming back, 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 banger after banger. So, nah, that was kind of... that was kind of lame. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And if you did, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and get me to 1K real, real fast. Go ahead and like. Go ahead and comment. Tell me a little bit of your business in the comments if you want to. Because I don't want to just share my business and you don't share none with me. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it. That is all. And to the next sit down. Cheers.